Hey friends, hope you're doing well. In this little video, I'm going to show you a project where we use ChatGPT, but this time not by insert data like typing, but instead we use our language. So we speak with ChatGPT and we also get an audio output. So ChatGPT is speaking back to us. So let's see how that works. What I did for that, I used Gradio. Gradio can be used as an interface for Python. You could also use Streamlit if you want. And what you definitely need is an OpenAI API key. So you need to register here. I'm using the free version here, so actually the test version. But of course, you can also use ChatGPT 4, for instance, if you have a subscription for that. So what I'm doing here is I'm loading my environment with load.env. This just means that I'm loading the API key as environment variable, and this is what I store here in OpenAI API key. And the goal, what we are trying to do here is simply we specify a role for ChatGPT, and the role is that ChatGPT here acts as a recruiter for a big tech company, and he or she, so the recruiter, wants to hire us. And I also specify that I want the response in 25 words or less, because I don't want very long text returned, because also the API, of course, if you do it with the paid version, you have to pay for it. So we just want to use this as an example. What we need for that is, or the way it works is actually the following. Of course, we type in some text, normally to ChatGPT, in order to get a response back. But this, in this project here, what we do is we simply speak to ChatGPT, and then what happens is that our speech is then transferred into text. So that has to happen because we need to send the text to ChatGPT. So even though we have an audio input, we convert this audio into text using the Whisper API, also from OpenAI, which we can do here by simply openai.audio.transcribe, the Whisper here API, and use the file. And the file is what we speak into the Gradio system. You're going to see this in a minute. And then we append this as a message, and then we use the chat completion here API from OpenAI in order to get the response back. And the response we get from the API, of course, is also text. So then we need to transform this text back into audio, which will then be returned by our system. So in this case, I'm using here Windows, but I'm sure that's also available on Mac or on a Linux system if you have some kind of language packages installed. Here I'm using the English language package, but of course you can also use this, for instance, for French or any other kind of language you want to try this out. So now let's go to it. So what we do here, we initialize the PyTSSX3 engine here, and we specify here what kind of voice you want to use. So in this case, I had to use voice number 1. You can also try different numbers depending on what kind of language packages you have installed. But for me, the first one would be my native language, which is not English. And this one here is the first one is English because I installed the English language package for that. So then we can use this here in order to start a loop. And this is very crucial. So this took me a while to find this and to figure this out. So if you like this video, just want to mention this, then please give it a like, and also please subscribe to the channel, and also post your questions or feedback in the chat to this video if you want to see more like that. So as I said, I figured this out already, so you don't have to do this on your own. You can save some time. So what we basically do is we create a kind of loop here, which gets iterated. And the reason why we need to do this is because when I first started with this using the PyTSX3 package, the issue I faced was that I got stuck in the loop. So with the run and wait method, which I used at the beginning, actually the loop never ended. So actually I was not able to, for instance, use another audio input. So I only was able to ask ChatGPT once, but not a second time. And in order to avoid this, this is actually the code which I need. I start the loop, I iterate, and I end the loop. And with this setup here like that, I can ask further questions later on. So then we respond the message here, return the message here, the response. And then in the interface here, we simply specify that we have an audio input, and we also want to return the text. So what I'm basically doing is, I'm going to show you this right now, is that I'm speaking the audio into the Gradio interface, and I will return the audio by my system, but I also will see the audio or the response as text also in Gradio. So let's get into that. All we need to do is we need to start here this chat.py. That's the file, the name I gave it. So if I say here, for instance, Python and then chat.py, and I run this, then we just need to wait until the Gradio interface starts, and there it is. There it runs on this specific URL, and here you can see that's basically what it looks like. So we have an audio input, that's what we specified in our Grado app, and we have the output, which will be text, but also our system will read this text for us just in a minute. Now, as I said, this is a recruiter, and he or she wants to recruit us. And so let's just ask him why we should join their company. So let's do that. Why should I join your company? So this was our recording, and let's play this. Why should I join your company? So hopefully you could hear this. That's basically our input here. And now we send this to the API, and then we just wait for the response. Let's just submit it, and let's just wait until we get the response here as text, but also as
Join our company and work on cutting-edge technologies, collaborate with smart and talented professionals, and shape the future of the tech industry.
So, you heard it. Hopefully that was a response from my system. So that was one of the Windows languages, packages which are available. Of course, not the best. This can be tweaked, of course. There are better packages, certainly. But you can see that it read exactly, or it spoke exactly what we can read here as the output, which is the response from ChatGPT. Okay, and that's actually it for this specific project. Of course, now I can ask further question. I can clear this and ask another one. But that's basically how this setup works. So this was a little project, was very interesting. So as I said, hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, then please, as I said, give this video a like, and please consider subscribing if you want to see more like that. So thanks a lot for your support. Wish you all the best, and hopefully see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.